Hello and welcome to the interview here on France 24. On Monday, March 14th, during the evening newscast on Russia's main channel, Channel 1, a woman got into the studio and showed a sign opposing the war in Ukraine. This woman is Marina Ovsyannikova, and she's our guest today from Moscow. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your invitation. First of all, I would like to thank French President Macron for his incredible offer. He offered to bring me to France. He offered me political asylum. Unfortunately, I won't be able to accept this kind offer because I am a patriot. I want to stay and live in my own country with my family. All my friends are here. And I want to stay in Russia.
You were fined 30,000 rubles, some 250 euros, for what's called an administrative infraction. Not so much for what you've done during that evening newscast, but for a video you posted on social networks where you denounced the war in Ukraine as a crime, Russia as the aggressor, and Vladimir Putin as the responsible, and you're calling on Russians to take to the streets. Today you were freed, but are you afraid that there will be other legal proceedings, especially criminal ones?
Well, you know, I have been given a fine, which was for the video that I posted. It was an administrative fine. And in this video, I explained my gesture. And they said that this was an appeal to go down into the streets, to demonstrate, to protest. But in fact, the fine is not the end of the story, because I have not yet been fined or prosecuted for my appearance on the TV news broadcast. So I think there may be further prosecutions coming.
Those sanctions could be quite severe, Marina. We know publishing quote-unquote false information is a crime where you could get a 15 jail sentence. Is this what you're fearing?
Yes, I do fear that. In fact, this criminal procedure is quite surreal. I run the risk of a 15-year prison sentence. And I certainly hope I can avoid that.
Why? Why did you do that? You knew there would be consequences. Maybe you didn't expect such a worldwide echo. But why? You must have thought about that. This is not a spontaneous gesture. This is a difficult one because you work in a media that exactly opposes what you've expressed.
Well, I think that this was an expression of an accumulation of dissatisfaction over the years. Dissatisfaction because of propaganda. At the beginning, the governor's elections were canceled. Then in 2014, there were the questions of the republics. There was the poisoning of Navalny, his imprisonment. And really the straw that broke the camel's back, the point of no return, was the invasion of Russian soldiers in Ukraine. Ordinary Russians cannot understand this. There's no explanation for it. How could we send our armed forces into another country? None of my friends None of the people I know believed that such a thing could happen. They never believed it possible. In my opinion, we must stop this as quickly as possible.
However, you belong to that channel publishing the information the Kremlin wants to see published. Was there a moment, really, that triggered this? Because one could say you've accepted this for years. Why not anymore?
As I've said, it is the war in Ukraine that really is the point of no return. This was the trigger. People never thought such a thing could happen. They never thought it was possible. On February 24th, I stopped sleeping. I lost all sense of direction in my life. I couldn't eat, and I understood that I couldn't remain silent. I learned about this new law that makes it possible to detain any people demonstrating in the street, and I decided that I should join these events. I should join these protest actions, and I went down into the public squares in Moscow, and I understood right away that these protest actions were not effective because they are so constrained. They are so controlled. So I decided to make this gesture and to send a strong message to say that Russians are against the war and to say that we must not trust the propaganda that we hear on Russian television. And we must make the distinction between truth and lies.
Vladimir Putin denounced this Wednesday the quote-unquote national traitors. He talked about a necessary self-purification of Russian society, and he said every people, especially the Russian one, can distinguish the real patriots from the scum and spit them out like a gnat that would have entered accidentally their mouth. Are you afraid when you hear Vladimir Putin say that after what you've done?
Of course, I'm afraid. But I do not think that I'm scum. Russian citizens who have their opinions and who speak out are not scum. People in the streets who are protesting are not traitors. They are citizens with their positions as citizens.
Have you received threats or been intimidated since you barged into the TV studio at the channel?
Publicly, no one has threatened me. But I think there are comments published on internet. I don't know. I don't have the time to look at that. And in fact, I try to stay away from that. But I think there will be comments, certainly. You know, Russian society today is quite divided. A part, perhaps half of the population is against the war, and the other half supports President Putin and wants to continue this operation.
Are you going to quit your job at the TV channel?
Yes. Today, I went to the offices and I turned in all the paperwork for my legal redundancy agreement. This is a legal process.
Some TV celebrities have recently taken their distances or taken a holiday. For example, Yana Agalakova and another star from your channel, even Urgent. Do you think this is a signal, this is a way to express their opposition, maybe less visible, or is it fear?
Of course, they're afraid. Very few people are able to make such a gesture, especially in recent days. But there is a positive trend that we've seen recently on television stations. I know that a number of my colleagues have written letters. Some also have filed for redundancy agreements, and that's a good thing. But as you know, the economic situation is very complicated in Russia, so not many people can really allow themselves to be unemployed because they have monthly payments to meet. They're paying for their houses or they're paying their rent. Foreign media are shut down here. So professional journalists can only find work on the state media.
Just to finish, we're running out of time. You have 2 children. Are they proud of their mother today?
It's quite complicated. Above all, they're very afraid, especially my son. He's young. He thinks that I've destroyed our family life by my gesture. But I explained to him that in life, you have to react and make decisions that are often complicated. And that above all, we must bring an end to this fratricidal war. We must stop this madness before we reach something like nuclear war. So I think when my son is a bit older, I think he will be able to understand my gesture.
Marina Ovsyannikova, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and to answer our questions from Moscow. Thank you for watching this interview. Stay tuned for more news.